Welcome back mga Insans! Welcome to another episode of Insans Out of Basketball, a Filipino podcast about NBA, about Vancouver basketball, and about the Filipino community basketball with Intan.
And Jello, welcome back, mga insan, to our to our video. Again,
Yes,
for those
sir.
who are new here, of course, please don't forget to like, subscribe, to keep following us on this journey. And what is this journey that we're trying to achieve? So me and Intan again we are from Vancouver, and we used to have a team here. We have the Vancouver Grizzlies way before, and we want to bring it back. And we have a lot of people that I know would love to have a basketball team here. We want to have a basketball team here, and we want to be the pioneers. We want to be the first of those people that are bringing in a community that really loves the basketball. We need a second, um, we need a second Canadian team here, to be part of the NBA. And again, we are excited to be part of this journey. And yeah, usually we just talk about what's happening in the NBA. For this week, we are talking about the trades that might be potentially happening this off season. But before we do, we usually have a 24-second instant shot clock, which we do, which talks about what's happened in the last week or so. Just quick, giving you all the informations. And Intan, let's take it away.
All right. So before I continue, please don't forget to subscribe. I know we have a lot more viewers than the subscribers amount. So please subscribe. Watch until the end. We have some exciting news
Yes,
today.
sir. Yes, sir.
And so, without further ado, let's start this. Spurs forward Jeremy Sohan recently visited Intramuros in the Philippines.
Let's
A
go.
new NBA star will rise to claim the championship ring this year. Will it be Edwards, Brunson, Halliburton, or SGA? Filipino athlete Mikhail Malabuyok was selected in the second round of this year's Canadian Elite Basketball League draft. And finally, Kuiz and I are going to the Vancouver Bandits home opener against the Niagara Lions this Thursday, May 22nd.
Let's
Tomorrow.
go. Home opener. Home opener. I'm excited.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, we never really follow the Vancouver Bandits, and it's kind of a um bad for us that we're trying to get a Vancouver team, NBA team here, but we haven't supported what we have here in Vancouver. And you know I know some people in the Vancouver Bandits, and I'm excited to meet them tomorrow. So it's tomorrow, Thursday, that we're gonna see them. And yeah, support Vancouver Bandits, support the CEBL league. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about the trade. But for those who are looking for our playoff, you know, I guess what we thought and all that kind of stuff, going through the conference finals, we do have two separate videos about it. So please watch out for that. And I want you guys to look at that. And again, as we said, like, don't forget to like and comment on those videos. We want to get as much engagement as possible on these videos. But yeah, Intan, what's our first topic? What's our first spicy thing on this trade deadline? That's gonna be happening quite soon. Everything's coming so quickly.
Yeah, so there is this crazy rumor brewing that started because of a brother. And this brother is no other than Lonzo. All right. In a podcast, he was saying the Hornets might be drafting the guard, which I'm forgetting right now. Who is it?
Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is, why would they drafting a guard? They have LaMelo, a future star. But that rumor is LaMelo is going to the Clippers, which is insane because for a lot of years we've thought Hornets is building around LaMelo Ball, but now there might be a new trio in Los Angeles. So basically, there is a rumor that the San Antonio Spurs, who got the second overall pick, will trade it to the Hornets. And then there's going to be a three-way team with the Clippers. And
Hmm.
so Hornets will get the second round pick, Spurs will get the fourth round pick, and then Clippers will get LaMelo Ball. But there might be more players or more drafts involved in these rumors.
And coming from his brother is quite interesting. It's again, it's in a podcast. It's they know it's gonna be out there. Everyone's gonna be talking about it. I feel like every day there's more news about it. Everyone's basically adding more spice into it, basically saying that hey, this is actually gonna happen soon. What do you think, Intan, of all of this? Do you think it's a a win-win trade for both teams, both the Hornets and both the Clippers?
I think it might be win-win for everybody involved. I think for Spurs, they probably get some players, some key players, some key draft picks more than the fourth round pick. And then for the Hornets, they get a restart button because as we know, or a lot of people don't know, but Hornets, when they built around LaMelo, they didn't really reach anything. LaMelo was having a lot of injuries as well. And so this is like a refresh for them, which is good to rebuild again because the past plan didn't succeed. So for the Clippers, they get a new trio. This is insane because you get another playmaker around Kawhi, and then Harden will not have to do as much, which we know he is not the same as the MVP Harden.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new problem in the West.
But with the roster that Clippers have, I think it's a team that can potentially, go up against the West. I know we all know, me and Inta know that the West is very stacked, and you can't even have duos anymore. You need to have basically a trio of good players in order for you to succeed. And I think that's what they're trying to achieve. But as we can see, a lot of times what tends to happen if you don't have, your seven, eight player on the team, doing extra for your team, it might not do well. And that's what might happen with the Clippers. They might have to give up a decent amount of players. Like as we said, uh the
Zubac.
potential, yeah, the potential trade might bring out Subac, might bring out Powell, maybe a lot more players that we might see, and that might hurt Clippers. I know they only have basically 2-3 years of window because that's where when Harden and Kawhi has on their contract, but it becomes to a situation that you get like a LaMelo Ball that will be part of your franchise. And one thing that I will really want to mention is I think LaMelo is perfect in terms of just LA, the LA vibe, the LA community. Um,
Hometown.
it's a hometown too, so I think it's perfect fit for him. Hornets is such a small market that he's not gonna really grow well to what he might potentially be, but at the same time, you have maybe, uh, LaMelo and Kawhi. They're both injury prone. So it
Mhm.
might be one of those things that you're taking a risk, but is it a risk that is really worth it? Again, I think also too that this will be a win-win for both teams, but at the same time, is it gonna be something that Hornets will regret? What do you think, Ethan? Do you think they're gonna be regretting that? Hey, let's start a new, basically rebuilding with a new player.
I don't think so because if they keep Lamelo, they would probably be in the same situation they are in right now. They are out of the playoffs and they will have to bring more players to surround Lamelo, which has proven to be not a very healthy player. So why not take your chances on a fresh new guy that you know can ball, that you know is the bona fide number two player in the draft. He is number two. No other player is gonna be picked in that spot. And and yeah, he has a lot of potential. So I think it's a good to have a refresh when you've been kind of a mid team for all these years.
Yeah, and it's not like Hornets didn't really try to build around LaMelo. They've gotten some big name. Well, I wouldn't say big names, but some role players like Yusuf Nurkic. They got Seth
Mm,
Curry there. They got Grant Williams. They actually got
mm.
Grant Williams. Yeah, so they have a decent amount of role players that they tried to build LaMelo. Yes, it's not like the best role players that you could get, but they tried, right? I know there's still a couple of years left for this to work. But I as Intan said, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I think it's probably, you're right. It's probably better to just move on,
Yeah.
to a different, player.
Yeah.
And speaking of moving on, one of those things that, again, all of this stuff that we're going to be talking about is somewhat of a trade rumor, but it's kind of like what's happening, what's the most spicy trade rumor that's happening right now. And one of those teams, one of those players, is one of the biggest names in this trade deadline, is Giannis Antetokounmpo to Cleveland Cavaliers. Tell us the spice.
So this rumor came from Bill Simmons. I think he just have this idea that Cavs and the Bucks might trade for Giannis and Evan Mobley straight up 1-1. There might not, it might not be a 1-1, but that's what he is thinking. That's the trade involves around. But I think for the Cleveland, this is an insane pickup. You get probably one of the two best players in the league. I don't know if you've seen that video, but there's this video where they ask a lot of NBA players who's the best player in the league. It's usually Jokic or Giannis.
Yep.
You give that to the team that just won the
64.
first. I mean, like the team in. Oh shit!
Oh, technical difficulties.
Sorry about that. But yeah, if you give that MVP caliber guy to the team that won the East in the regular season, that's a big problem. They've already been the number one, and then you give them the probably the best player in the East. I don't know,
That's
but
gonna
for
be a problem. That's gonna be a
yeah,
problem. And we've had a few videos about Giannis. And one of the things that we said is, or what Intan said is, I think Giannis should stay in the East or stay with the Bucks, right? And I think it will be a smart move. But one of the things that I think is quite disrespectful for Giannis is getting a 1-to-1 trade of a young guy.
I don't think so.
And I said, like, it's not really gonna happen where it's a 1-to-1. I think a few more players will be added, but it's very disrespectful for who Giannis is and the amount of assets he brings into your team, the amount
Yes,
of basically wins, and just everything. It will blow up the city of Cleveland. They're gonna get their second, championship in this, you know,
easily I think,
very easily. It's not a problem.
especially
Again,
in the East.
one of the things that they really struggle to this year is the injury, right? And Giannis is someone that hasn't really have a lot of those injury problems. So again, it solidifies that problem in a way. And again, you get number one or number two in your team, and they have a great role player. They have a lot of young guns there, and I think it's gonna be important to build around this two duo with Giannis and then Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell, yeah.
But what do you think? Is it a win-win? Like, is it something that the Bucks will accept easily? Do you think Giannis will be happy? There's a lot of questions that I think needs to be answered. What do you think then?
I think this is a loss to the Bucks. I think their best um route to the playoffs is still with Giannis, but there might be a situation where Giannis is the one who is finally tired of this always coming short in the East. We know that they've won one already, but he knows that he is well capable of going to the finals every year.
Mhm.
And he might feel like even though they tried, the Bucks is not trying hard enough to bring him a better caliber players than maybe Damian Lillard, who is a defensive problem, and Kyle Kuzma, who is a problem, who has a problem with consistency in the offense and is a problem in the defense. So he might be the one who will ask for a trade, and the Bucks might just accept that he might leave. So we just have to get our assets now and rebuild to the for the future.
I think they already accepted that. I think the GM said that, you basically have to trade the whole franchise at that point in order for you to get Giannis. That's basically what he's saying. He's gonna be, hard. But again, one of the things too that um people are saying that Giannis needs to basically get the approval because again, Bucks, they got basically a really good run with Giannis, and that's it. They kind of run their course. They don't have any more draft picks to trade. They don't really have a good, you know, players to trade away. So the only thing that you can do is basically rebuild, and I think it will be beneficial for Bucks to get an Evan Mobley. Again, especially Damian Lillard will be out for a good amount of the next season. Maybe you just start building around Evan Mobley and start building him throughout this next season, and maybe you build around the Evan Mobleys of the world. And again, he just got the Defensive Player of the Year this year. So this is a really, I guess a win-win trade, but it's definitely a big loss for Bucks, knowing that their star player will be leaving. But Intan, speaking of star players, this guy, he's not necessarily a star player. Yeah, he's definitely on the road to be a star player. But it's on your team, the Los Angeles Lakers. What's happening with Los Angeles Lakers? Are they getting a new star?
There's always big rumors for the Lakers, whether it's Jimmy or Paul George or Kawhi or whoever. The biggest stars goes to LA. But this guy has been on the rumor mill for the Los Angeles Lakers for years now, I think. And that is Walker Kessler. Probably the most sought after center in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He is a rising star. And even before all these rumors started, I've been in love with this guy. This guy was drafted after Rudy Gobert left for the Timberwolves. And basically, he become a better version, better in mobility, better in offensive potential, and just defense is equally as insane, if not better.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now we know that the Lakers has been looking for that big man, even when Anthony Davis was still there. But now, especially when they only have Jackson Hayes really as their big man,
Yep.
Walker Kessler is that guy. And I think even the Warriors might want a piece of him.
I think one of the things too is he did get a big jump this year, last year I would say the season. He became a double machine. One of the things though that I stands out for me is the fact that he might also be somewhat injury prone, right?
Yeah.
He missed a lot of games the last couple of games in the season, and maybe that's one of the reasons they didn't really it's Utah Jazz. Like, what do you expect? But still, like, I think this is one of those things that again is another win-win for both teams, right? So again, one of the names that is part of this whole trade scenario is Austin Reeves, right? Um, Austin Reeves been playing well, I would say, the past couple of years. He is again another rising star. He could again, I could see him as a potential, you know, 1-2 guy on a team, and he is basically asking for a lot, and Lakers can't really give him that money, right, in terms of the extension, and that's why he's potentially looking for a different team. And Utah Jazz might be again a team that is potentially be good for him, right? They're young, they have a few young stars, um, and if you can get this team to at least a playoff contention, I think Austin Reeves, if that's what he's looking for, to be kind of like well known and all that kind of stuff, I think this is a team for him, right? He doesn't need too much now in terms of all the veterans that he can get from Lakers, like all the skills. I know he has a lot to learn still, but this might be his time to basically like, hey, let me run the show. I can do it. Right? Let me be that guy. Again, this is another win-win trade. What do you think, Ethan? Do you think it's a win-win trade for both teams?
I think so. It will be a big loss for the Lakers because during the playoffs, he is one of their more reliable offensive guys. But
I mean, he didn't do well, but still,
yeah, he
I
didn't
see.
do well, but they only did one round. So we don't know what he could have done in the second round. But I think with the offensive power that Luca brings, I think it's okay to maybe part ways with Austin Reeves and maybe prioritize that big man when literally Minnesota just demoralizes the whole team.
Hmm.
Gobert looked like Shaquille O'Neal on the Lakers, so I think it's a very good investment to go after Walker Kessler, who is still relatively not that big of an asset to get. So I think yeah, we should pounce right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely still a few more names coming up, right? There's decent amount of big and centers that are on the market this free agency, and a lot of teams are looking for that, right? The small ball era has kind of died down this season. I
Mm.
think we're gonna see a rise of a new era of, I would say, basketball in terms of just gameplay. Again, we're going back to all the centers, and the center has really evolved, right? That's one of the things that is really important now with any team is to have a center that they can rely on and can be their basically um the part of the core for their team, right?
Yeah.
But with all of this said, we have, we talked about the Lakers, we talked about Giannis, we talked about LaMelo. Excuse me. What team are you, aside from Lakers, what team are you really excited of this offseason in terms of trades?
I think for me, the Houston Rockets, they're young, they have a lot of assets to trade. They have advanced to wait, did they advance? No, right? Or maybe not. But they have an experience now in the playoffs with this round. So I think it's the time is now. You have to trade some key rising stars for a big name,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe Jalen Brown. Maybe go after Giannis, but maybe Giannis wouldn't approve to go to the West. But maybe go after that big man because you are capable of fighting in the playoffs. We've seen that in the first round when where they went 7 games with uh Golden State Warriors. So I think it's the time is now for the Rockets too. There are a lot of big names out there who want to move away. So let's go.
Definitely. And speaking of young team, speaking of, trading your big stars, I think one of the teams I'm excited to see is the Dallas Mavericks. I want to see where this team would
Oh,
go. I mean, one of the things that's gonna deter people from watching, I think, other than like, it's the fact that Kyrie will be out for a majority of the season,
mm.
right? Again, we have a lot of this injury that happened quite recently. It's somewhat bad for the NBA to lose all of the stars, but where are they gonna go with this team, right? Because I think they're gonna make some moves. They basically got some extensions. They traded a few guys that are forwards slash wings into their team, and now Cooper Flag is basically taking up that spot. So I want to see where what they're gonna try to build around. Are they basically trying to focus on still the Anthony Davis, or are they gonna focus on the Cooper Flag side, or are they gonna try to build a team now and hopefully
I
win a championship this year or even next year and get that, get basically Kyrie half of the season, get him some, yeah, not experience, like, some practice with the team, and hopefully they can try to win it because AD's not getting younger. Kyrie's not getting younger. I think this is one of those things where it's like, hey, we got the number one. What are we gonna do? Are we just gonna waste this guy? Well, we have two big guns, and again, they still have Clay. It's another game that's not getting thrown around. With the Dallas team, what are they gonna do, man? What do you think of this Dallas Mavericks team?
Yeah, the Mavs are very exciting. I'm excited to watch what the Mavs will do. And there's a lot of rumors that they might go after Giannis too. But personally, I don't think Giannis and AD is a good fit.
No,
They
I don't think so too.
both don't shoot threes. Dallas has a lot of bigs already. So I think they have to focus on Cooper Flag. I know it will be more beneficial to them than trading for Giannis. For me, if they want to trade for Giannis, then trade AD. Might as well trade AD and get
Mm-hmm.
some maybe good guards but they already have Clay and Kyrie. So I think they have to keep Cooper Flag. He's a very exciting player.
I
He's
think
a
they will. Yeah.
franchise player. He has some defense which they love from their Luca trade, from all the interviews they've been talking about. But yeah, he has a three-pointer defense. He is a generational talent, so I think they should keep him, and I think they have a very good fit. But yeah, I think it will be exciting what how they're gonna form their team because I know AD doesn't like to be forward, but if they have Cooper, then he might slide into power forward, and then it's best to put Anthony Davis in the center. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the plan is to have Lively on the starting, Cooper in your three, and
Yeah,
Davis at the four. I think that's the ongoing kind of
probably.
starting
Yeah,
lineup right now. Especially if if you if you can get a center there with Davis, that's again he knows it. We all know it. That's when he kind of like becomes a threat because he if he go up against a center, he's quite speedy, but at the same time, he can't do it for the whole game, right? So that's why they need that
yeah.
center. Yeah. So again, there are a lot of teams that is definitely I'm looking forward to see this off season. But what do you think? What do you think of all of this trades? Do you think it will be good for the NBA? Do you think this will be, there's a lot of good talents, is basically what I'm trying to say here. There's a lot of good talents. And I think this is really proves the point that we're trying to achieve with this pod. With what we do here is I think we really need to get some expansion teams, right? I think this is one of those things that we have too much concentration of good guys in some teams, and it needs to be more competition, right? Because again, I mean, if we get Vancouver team here, they'll be part of the West, right?
Uh Probably.
Oh no, they'll be part of the East because Toronto's on the East. Um,
Wait,
because they
but
need a
Toronto
one.
is on the other side.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's
Yeah,
weird. But Toronto is in the East side, like they're the
yeah.
Eastern. But they whenever they try to expand, they're always gonna look for a team that is both in the East and the West, right? So it just balances out, and that's why there's a few teams that might be, changed to a Western team to become an Eastern team, kind of thing. So I think this really proves that point. And which do you think player or city should really expand other than Vancouver?
I think one of the biggest teams out there is Seattle. So if they bring back Seattle, I don't know if they were gonna bring back Vancouver too, because we
Yeah,
are
it's
like
tough, right?
kind of in like the same area, very
Mhm.
close. So I'm not really sure what's gonna happen there. Maybe like what you said, maybe they're gonna move some teams to the east or to the west or
Yeah,
whatever. But it's been one of the biggest cities that wanted their teams back, and we know Seattle Supersonics has a lot of history with Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, and
Kevin Durant.
they were oh yeah, KD, he was drafted there before they moved to OKC, but
Mhm.
they have a lot of history. A lot of great players were from Seattle. I know Jamal Crawford, I think, yeah, some other guys, but
Yep.
Seattle is a very big city for the basketball community. So I hope they get their team too, and it's very close to Vancouver. So it's gonna be very exciting, and I hope we all get our teams back. Bring back the real Grizzlies to Vancouver,
Yes, sir.
Supersonics to Seattle. Let's get it.
Yeah, and again, like we have a lot of great players. We have a lot of, an abundance of them. I feel like every draft there is a guy that is gonna basically be a franchise, and this is the time now, right, to bring all of this, you know, new era of basketball, and I think it's time to have that expansion coming in. And I'm excited to see where that goes. And again, thank you guys for being part of this journey, right? With us. Um, for those, I think we should probably mention it. Insan means cousin, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we call ourselves the ins and outs of basketball because me and Intan are cousins, and we are excited. We're excited, and we're gonna keep doing this, right? And we want you guys to keep watching us. Let us know what we can do to improve. What do you want to hear? There we have a lot of ideas coming up in the pipeline. Um, but yeah,
Yes,
we're working on
sir.
it. We're working on it. Final thoughts, Dan, to end this pod.
Yeah, we're always working on it. We're always trying to get better, but we all want to hear your feedback. So if you see anything that we can improve on, like we said, we're just some newbies. We don't know anything about
Yes,
YouTube, like social media, YouTubing videos and stuff. So
we
whatever
just
we can
really want to
improve.
do this. We're just really passionate about
Yeah, we
basketball.
just want to talk about basketball. We
Mm-hmm.
just want to bring this talk to the Filipino community, basketball community, Vancouver community. So hopefully we all just gather here and talk and chat, and maybe that can help boost the basketball community, and that way we get our team back. Let's
Yes, go.
go.
Let's go. Let's go. So, what do we say here in our podcast,
All
Igdan?
right, mga insan. Don't forget to subscribe. Smash that subscribe button like your mom used to follow you, all right? But with all that being said, insans out. Yes, sir.
Want more wild takes and heated hoop talks? Hit that subscribe button for more ins and outs. The real court for Pinoy basketball.